So I was asked to make a video about this, and I'm surprised that I never did, because it's something that I've been doing for myself for a while. Well, I mean, I stopped a while ago because I don't have to anymore, but it was something that I was doing for me, and I did talk about it and share it in the Discord, but I never actually made a video talking about it. And, well, it's ancient hunts, you know. You both love them and you hate them, because while they do provide you with powerful gilded items that have an extra enchantment slot to make Apocalypse plus 25 easier, it also is RNG hell, because then you have an extra enchantment slot to worry about. Not only that though, but just to even do a hunt, you have to gather items to offer up for a hunt that actually have the runes that combine to summon an ancient. That can be annoying in itself. Then you have to actually run the hunt and encounter an ancient, because just because one can spawn doesn't mean that it will. And then it has to drop the item that you want, or at least one item that you want. Then it has to be unique, then it has to be the unique that you want, and then it has to have the enchants on it that you want. And it's just so many layers of RNG that it's just ridiculous. And then if you don't get what you want, you have to go and farm for more items, and it's just a complete mess, because each time you do it, you might see like one gilded item every 10 or 20 minutes, if that. I mean, a smart thing to do would be to check the Piglin merchant in between runs, maybe even restock him now and then, but even that is not the fastest method. This method that I did, admittedly I had an unfair advantage because I was able to do this a lot sooner. It was something that I'd done in other games, but because of playing with that PC player that I mentioned a while ago, and we were testing things on Apocalypse 250 billion in their modded camp, a lot of items were dropping at power 1 trillion and higher, so they were giving me a lot of gold and emeralds when I was salvaging them. So I had a lot of gold to do this. But what you do is you want to do enough ancient hunts to where the Piglin merchant has all 3 of his slots open, and you want to be at about Apocalypse plus 21 power difficulty, because then stuff has a good chance, or at least a chance, to be level 3 gilded. And what you do then is you get about 1,000 gold from running ancient hunts. You know, you can do maybe 5 to 10 should do it, because you get like 100 to 200 gold per run if you salvage everything, because most of the stuff's garbage that you get from them anyway. And what you do then is you finish the hunt so that the Piglin merchant is completely restocked and everything. And what I did originally was I exited the game on my PS4 and I backed up my save online. But now, thanks to cross-save, you can just go to the main menu and, you know, upload your hero to back up your hero. This preserves your game state with the Piglin merchant being completely, like, restocked and everything. Then you go back into your game, and you just keep on restocking the Piglin merchant over and over and over again, because you're seeing 3 gilded items each time. And if you have 1,000 gold, you can restock him a lot. I mean, even if you're not seeing anything that's really good, you're still going through gilded stuff a lot quicker than if you actually do the hunts, like, manually. And if you're just looking for something gilded, you don't care what it is, you just want something gilded, whether it's rare, unique, you just want it to be good, this is the quickest method that you can do it, because you can go through hundreds of gilded stuff an hour, if not more, just doing this, because once you run out of all of your gold and the Piglin merchant's restock price is really high, if you didn't get anything that's worth keeping, then you can just exit your game and re-download that hero that, you know, you saved before you did all that, and just do it all again, over and over again. And that's originally what I did, and that's how I got so many god rolls, because I was just doing that all day. Once I did get something that was worth keeping, since I had millions of gold, I would just then run a hunt to restock the merchant, reset his price, and then back my save up again, and I just did it all over again. And it's just so much better to do it that way. Now, however, if you're looking to farm a specific ancient, this is something that I discovered purely by accident. So I just want to talk about rapiers for a second. Like, I love rapiers, but a while ago when I did my first DPS tier list, it was not flattering to them at all, because everything else was like base DPS of like 3 million, 2.8 million, 2.5 million, 2.4, 2.3, even like 1.9 or 1.8. Everything was going up or down in increments of like 100,000. After you get to 1.8 million, the rapiers were 1.5 million. Like, even today, they are still the second weakest, with Coral Blade at the lowest at 1.3. It was not flattering for them. Like, they were a laughingstock, but I still loved them because they, before I even understood what made weapons really particularly great aside from DPS, they just performed really well. And I really loved to do the daily trials that would make them appear because I really liked using them and I liked farming them. Now, this Piglin merchant strategy does not work for getting rapiers, or at least it didn't work in the past because aside from when daily trial exclusive items were introduced for the first time, you could not get them in the shops. You can now, but you couldn't before, so you could not use the Piglin merch to do that. So in order to get gilded trial exclusive stuff, you had to actually farm the ancients. And, well, that's what I decided to do. I wanted to get those out of the way, and I figured I would start with rapiers because they're one of my favorite weapons. Now, like I said, this is really annoying though because you have to do an ancient hunt, you have to run through it, hope to encounter an ancient, and then hope that it gives you what you want, because if not, then you have to regather all of those offerings again, and if you only want that one ancient to spawn, then you have to have specific runes. Otherwise, even if you get runes for the ancient that you want, you could also get another ancient to, like, in the hunt with it, and that could get in the way. So it's a really terrible slog, and there's a much better way, thankfully. And how I discovered this was, I was probably on maybe my 12th attempt doing an ancient hunt, going for just like a bee stinger, freezing foil, or even just a rapier. I just wanted something that was good. And I believe I started in Nether Fortress. Now, one thing that I had always understood was that ancient hunts are randomly rolled when you first start them. And this is true, but it's not entirely true. So while I was running through the Nether Fortress area of the ancient hunt, I encountered Solemn Giant, and it actually dropped a freezing foil that was decent. It wasn't the best one, but it was worth keeping. And I was like, well, I don't want to run the rest of this hunt and get nothing, and think, do I want to save this freezing foil because I just wasted the rest of the hunt? So what I did was I opened up the start menu and I exited back to camp so that I could go then and exit my game and back up my save to save the freezing foil and go back into the hunt, thinking that I could just complete the rest of the hunt as usual. So I did that, but when I went back into the hunt, I was actually then in Spider Cave, and that was really weird to me because that's not where I left off. It was, I still wasn't entirely sure what had happened. Later on, I didn't even notice this, but the game had counted me as having completed the first of the 3 sections in the hunt, so I only had 2 left. What I found was then that in the Spider Cave section of the hunt, there were 3 Solemn Giants, and then in the next section, there was 1 Solemn Giant. And I ran those, I went through all of the gold rooms to find this out, and I didn't get anything that was worth keeping, so I exited the game and I re-downloaded my save to do it again. I figured that it was just going to be randomly rolled each time, but it wasn't. When I went back in, the hunt was exactly the same, so I was able to just go to where those Solemn Giants were, kill them all over again, and just keep farming them that way. Every time that I reloaded my save and went back in, they were always in the same spot, so I could easily just speedrun to those gold rooms, kill the Solemn Giant, and then just keep farming the rapiers like that. And that's when I realized that ancient hunts are randomly rolled when you create them for the first time, and when you exit them, having not completed them. So, what you can do is first back up your save before you offer your items to start the hunt, like save it in like the top hero slot or something like that, and then start the hunt. Maybe go a decent ways into it, because what you want is for the game, when you leave the hunt, to count as the first area completed so that it definitely re-rolls everything. Maybe you could complete 1 gold room or kill 1 ancient in the first area. Don't advance to the next area, just stay in that first area. And then maybe like complete the entire first area and then exit to camp and back up your save, but back it up in another slot so that you still have that first slot before you started the hunt in case you have to restart the whole thing. And then you go back into your game and you go into the hunt, which will have re-rolled the hunt already, and it'll be stuck like that, so that if it happens that going into the hunt there's a bunch of ancients that have what you want, they will always be there as long as you keep on reloading that save that you have uploaded, and you can just keep farming it that way. And it's so much quicker than doing hunts the normal way, or if you're trying to get a specific item, it's much quicker than restocking the Piglin Merchant. Because even restocking the Piglin Merchant, once you start getting more and more god rolls, there are less god rolls that you need, and then it becomes harder to find something that's worth keeping. So hopefully this explanation was easy enough for you to understand. Basically, you just get the offerings you need for the ancient that you want, back up your save any way, like any method that you have. Best to do the hero method because you want more than one slot. And then you go and start the hunt, you clear out the first section, don't go to the second section, then open up your menu, return to camp, go to your main menu, and back up your hero again in a different slot, go back into your camp, and then just keep on going into the hunt from there. Always restoring your save from that second backed up character, you know, if you don't get anything that you want. And the hunt should always be the same as long as you do it that way. If not, it either means that it wasn't done the way that I'm explaining and I probably didn't explain it well enough, or that maybe Mojang changed it and it does re-roll every single time you go back in instead of re-rolling when you leave. With it re-rolling when you leave, that means then you can back up your save after leaving so that the hunt is locked to whatever it's been re-rolled as, which then that makes it farmable. It's kind of like if you, say, are doing the tower, and you're on the second last floor or something like that, and you exit the tower to save your progress and back up your save, then you can just keep on going back in, completing that last floor, and just getting the different rewards each time. If the rewards were already determined when you started the tower, then this would be impossible, but with them, I don't know if they are or not, but if they are randomly rolled when you beat the boss of the tower, this means then that you can just keep on farming for tower rewards by just doing, literally just doing one floor over and over. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Feel free to keep watching and see how I exit the hunt and go back into the exact same hunt.